to Crochet by Landry, everybody. In this video, we are going to make bracelets for back to school so you can give them to your friends when you see them in September. So grab your pattern off of yarnspirations.com and follow along with me, and let's get started. Okay, everybody, let's get started making our crochet bracelets. Now, what I'm going to be using is Red Heart Super Saver for this pattern. Then I'm going to be using scissors, a yarn needle for sewing, the 5.5 millimeter hook, and a button. Now, if you want to follow along with me, go grab the pattern at yarnspirations.com. I'll put the link in the description box down below, and let's get started. Okay, let's get started making our bracelets. Now, if you're following along on the pattern with me, it says to make your bracelets between 6 inches and 9 inches long. So that is approximately, let's say, 34 chains. So let's start there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a slip knot. Okay. And now we're going to chain 34. So 1, 2, 3. All right. Did you finish your chain of 34? If you didn't, just pause and catch up. So that's what your chain should look like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start the next part of the pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Then we're going to do another single crochet in the one after that. And then a double crochet. Okay, so the pattern here is going to be single crochet, double crochet. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then a double crochet. And you're just going to repeat this all the way across till you get to the end. And once you get to the end, you should be finishing off with a double crochet on the very last chain. Once you've done that, we'll catch up. Okay, I'm getting ready to do my last double crochet in the last chain. There we go. That's what your bracelet should look like. Okay, now what we're going to do to create the loop for our buttonhole is we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you're going to slip stitch it into the base of your double crochet you just finished. So just do a little slip stitch. Okay, and then you're going to chain 1 to fasten off and trim your yarn. There we go. And then what you want to do is maybe take a minute and weave in your ends. So what you're going to do is the bumpy side will be the outside of our bracelet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sew the loose tails on the inside so they're not as noticed. Just like that. Okay, oops. Okay. Weave in our ends. Like I said, just you're going to weave them under some stitches in between as best you can so they're not noticed and they're not in your way. Then you just trim the loose ends, the leftover tail if there is any. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to sew on our button to the other side of our bracelet. Okay, so let's get ready to sew on our button. So what you want to do is if you have a yarn needle, you want to make sure that your yarn needle passes all the way through the buttonhole. Okay, if you don't have a yarn needle that's small enough, you can probably use a regular sewing needle. That'll be fine. So when you're putting on your button, you're going to put it on the opposite end from where your buttonhole is. And you're going to put it on the outside. So that way you can attach your bracelet to your wrist. So what you want to do is you want to feed your yarn, and I'm just using a piece of black embroidery floss. You can use yarn of the same color as your bracelet. You can also use regular sewing thread. That's up to you. And we're just going to sew it on like a normal button. Oops. Try not to let it slip out of your hands. And you're just going to go through whether your button has 4 holes, 2 holes. Okay? You're just going to go in and out of the, passing through the hole as much as you can so your button does not fall off. I'm going to go one more time. I went about 3 or 4 times. I thought that would be enough. And then what I'm going to do to really secure it on there is just tie a double knot on the other side where my loose tails are. That way, it's really not going anywhere. Okay, and then what we can do is weave in these ends as well. That way, there's no chance that the button will either A, fall off, or B, tails will get in your way. So I'm just going to weave them in on the inside of the opposite side of the button. I'm just going to weave them in best I can. There we go. And I'm just going to cut the tails so they're not in our way. Throw this excess on the side. And there we go. That's it for today, everybody. We made a cool bracelet to give to your friends once you're going back to school in September. Don't forget, subscribe down below for more content, and don't forget to get your pattern off of yarnspirations.com, and I will see you next time.